This is Ultimate Warriors. Next up, Japan, who has given the world most of the top modern martial art competitions, like Pancrase Hybrid Wrestling, the Pride Fighting Championships, and even Hardcore Wrestling. But in the 90s, it gave birth to this. Welcome to the world of K1. Throughout the year, the world's best fighters compete in K1 qualifying events on 5 continents, all hoping for the honour of competing in the K1 World Grand Prix. This is held every December in Tokyo in front of over 60,000 fans and record Japanese television audiences.
A single event where you pull in 60, 70,000 people to an event in a dome, a stadium. You don't see that in boxing. You're talking about people paying top dollar. I believe the seats in the front, like $3,000. It's an incredible event.
Traditional martial arts like karate, kickboxing, taekwondo and kung fu are among the disciplines upon which K1 is founded. But under K1 rules, these are fused together to produce a modern fight spectacle, which allows fighters from all these disciplines to compete on a more even playing field.
K. The letter K stands for, in Japanese words, kakutogi. That means all forms of martial arts come together into one ring under one rule and to decide who could be the best. That is the basic concept of K1.
Honour and respect rule in the K1 arena, and with no grappling, K1 is all action.
K1, that's definitely one of the things that make it unique, is the lack of grappling, and it's easier to understand when there's no grappling. Sometimes what happens is you just quite don't understand either the move that has taken place to make the guy submit or tap out, or you quite just don't understand, if it goes the distance, just who was winning, because it looked like two people were very tired and laying on top of each other. That can be a problem.
K1 combatants draw on their finely honed skills to deliver the clean punches and kicks that make this one of the most sophisticated and advanced fighting sports in the world today.
Everyone knows what a knockout is, whether or not it's coming from the fist or your foot. It's very easy to look at and understand. And so it's not complex, you know. Hey, the guy knocked out, the other guy who didn't wins.
K1 is where you will find the finest stand-up fighters vying for the distinction of being crowned the best of the best. One fighter who has cemented his place in K1 history is Dutchman Ernesto Hoost. A 3-time K1 Grand Prix winner, he's been nicknamed Mr. Perfect.
Ernesto Hoost is the grand poobah of the whole thing. I mean, there's been champions before him, and there's been champions in the midst of him, but Ernesto Hoost is by far the best K1 fighter out there right now.
He's a dedicated fighter. He is not a fighter who only has the fighting spirit, skills, but also mentally fit. He's a symbol of K1's technique. He's a symbol of K1.
But he isn't the only Dutchman to make his mark on K1. Peter Ertz has been chopping down opponents for a decade, on his way to 3 K1 Grand Prix titles. That's why he's known as the Dutch Lumberjack. The Netherlands' obsession with kickboxing was paying dividends on the world scene, and they were dominating the K1 tournaments.
I think Holland has this, it's a little country and they always want to be the best in something. They have this, urge to win.
To win the Grand Prix, you have to fight 3 times in one night. Each fight consists of up to 3 rounds lasting 3 minutes each. If there's not a knockout, a winner is decided by a trio of judges at ringside.
With a 3rd round knockout win over Seppo.
If you have 3 fights, you have a certain strategy. You have to figure how much I'm going to pull out in the first fight based on the individual you're fighting. If you get hurt and you win the fight, you go to the next round, and that's very difficult. It's not a fun fight. If you get tired, there again, you have another round to go through. It's about a little strategy. I prefer to fight a single fight. A single fight, you can just give it your all, but a tournament's kind of difficult. It's a lot of things to consider.
So in December 2002, with 3 wins each, both Dutchmen came to their 10th Grand Prix final at the Tokyo Dome, knowing one more win would cement their place as the greatest K1 fighter in history. But one would fall early. In his quarter-final, Peter Ertz lost a close split decision to tough Kiwi Ray Sefo. Dutch hopes were now solely with the man the fans called Mr. Perfect. And against Bob the Beast Sapp, he was going to need a perfect performance. Hoost began the fight well in round 1, but Sapp would come out in round 2 revitalised. The Dutchman couldn't defend himself, and the referee stopped the fight. Hoost was out of K1 2002, but Lady Luck was smiling on Mr. Perfect. Sapp had fractured his hand and would not be able to continue. K1 rules meant Hoost was reinstated and would fight again in the semi-finals, where he would face Earth's conqueror, Ray Sefo, for a place in the K1 final. Again, luck was on Ernesto's side. A leg kick by Sefo struck Ernesto's knee. Sefo collapsed to the canvas in pain and was unable to continue. Mr. Perfect had made it to the final. The chance to become the first 4-time K1 Grand Prix champion was still a reality. A K1 record, 74,000 fight fans were at the final. Hoost was to face Frenchman Jerome Labana for the K1 title. Labana started the better, and a solid left hook nearly put the Dutchman down. In the third, though, Ernesto came on strong. A powerful kick struck the Frenchman on the elbow, and Labana immediately turned away in pain. He bravely fought on, but after taking 3 standing counts in the round, he was stopped. Dutchman Hoost had done it. He was the 4 times K1 Grand Prix champion and proved he is the greatest fighter in K1 history. Now 10 years old, K1 is at a crossroads. But what does the future hold for this exciting fight tournament?
K1 needs to be a name of the sport that is being recognized by the general audience in every part of the world. That is, I guess, our ultimate goal.
They have to get in there, they have to tell people, hey, it's not kickboxing, we're doing this really wild and crazy, exciting show with great fights, great personalities. I mean, think of it like pro wrestling except for real.
Well, I can tell you right now, the future for K1 is extremely, extremely bright. I'm talking about put the sunglasses on when you look at it, baby. Because it's going to be a hell of a ride.
So Holland's Mr. Perfect rules K1 for another year. But what makes these Dutchmen so tough?
I don't know if it's something, in the water, or maybe they party too much in Amsterdam. I don't really have a direct answer for you. But the thing is, they always just seem to breed, these fighters that come out and just, balls to the wall action all the way.
Next time on Ultimate Warriors, we are off to the martial arts capital of the world, Japan, where they are fighting crazy.